I'm Linda Gunner, state president, and I'm really excited to bring this session for all of our NCRSP members today because I met these ladies at a workshop in DC with AARP. And I learned that, and both of these people, Mary Beth Dixon, she's a senior advisor for NRT, which is the National Retired Teachers Association. And they work with AARP's education community. And so she advises on volunteer leadership development and membership. And she's been working with them for like 19 years. And they go out, across the country. They do Zoom sessions like this. And so when I heard that they did that, I thought, we need to build a good relationship with AARP because I think they can really enhance our program. And Nicole is here with her. She is a program associate with NRTA, and she's also in the education community, and she serves retired educators just like us and contributes to the team in administrative operations and strategic planning. So they have a lot of staff. They have a lot of good programs going on. So I'm a member of AARP too. Maybe you are. If not, I suggest you join. And we really welcome these ladies today. And I'm going to let them go ahead with their presentation. Thank you so much.
Great. Thanks so much, Linda. We're going to just get started with NRTA's award-winning legacy film. I am hoping you enjoy it. It's about 6 minutes, and then we'll go right into session. So I'm just having a moment waiting there. I can see it now. Can everyone hear?
There is much to learn from those who come before us and from our history. This history takes us back to the early 1900s, to Ethel Percy Andrus, a woman who believed in dedicating oneself in service to others. Dr. Andrus had many roles in her life: teacher, volunteer, high school principal, caregiver, advocate, and ultimately founder of the National Retired Teachers Association.
It's just up to you as to what you will make of this part of your life.
Dr. Andrus was born in San Francisco in 1881. When she was 9, her family moved to Chicago, where she attended the University of Chicago and Lewis Institute. After graduation, she taught at Lewis for 7 years. As a young educator, Dr. Andrus led a fulfilling life. Outside of her work, she volunteered in Chicago's settlement houses, which provided residents with social support services and vocational skills training. This work proved pivotal in shaping Dr. Andrus's worldview, setting her on a path to fight for her community for the rest of her life. In 1910, Dr. Andrus moved back to California and took a job teaching in the Los Angeles high school system. She quickly rose to become the first female high school principal in California at Abraham Lincoln High School in East Los Angeles. The school population consisted of a bustling, diverse group of students, many from immigrant families. At that time, Lincoln High faced high rates of truancy, delinquency, and a lack of school spirit. Dr. Andrus realized that building up a communal spirit was key to turning around the school. And so she did. She built student pride by revitalizing sporting programs, started a night school for parents, and created countless clubs and programs to support her students' many interests while honoring the diverse cultures of LA. A champion of lifelong learning, in her 40s, she also invested in herself, earning a master's degree and a PhD in education from the University of Southern California. After a robust 28-year career at Lincoln High, much to her students' dismay, Dr. Andrus retired to care for her mother when she became gravely ill. This experience of family caregiving in her early 60s laid the groundwork for the next chapter in her life. Fortunately, her mother recovered and urged Dr. Andrus to help other older people. So, in retirement, Dr. Andrus became a leader in the California Teachers Association, checking on the well-being of retired teachers in Southern California. At this time, California's teachers received a meager pension, barely enough to live on, much less live in dignity. This came into sharp clarity for Dr. Andrus on one of her wellness checks when, to her shock, she found a former educator living in a chicken coop. So Dr. Andrus took action, beginning her fight on behalf of retired teachers across the country. In 1947, she founded the National Retired Teachers Association, NRTA, by bundling together the existing state retired teachers associations. She advocated for the protection of state pensions, and she focused on identifying solutions. She was able to negotiate the first ever group health insurance plan for older Americans, a decade before Medicare.
It seems to me that when we think of it, we have to think of it as a victory and an achievement and a goal, an activity. And when we do that, after all, we are old, and we mustn't be afraid, but we must be proud of the word.
By the time Dr. Andrus died on July 13, 1967, she had created an organization that provided many older Americans with the opportunity to have benefits and retirement security, negotiated affordable prescription drug prices, provided access to health care and fair housing, and created opportunities for older Americans to volunteer in their communities. Dr. Andrus's passion for helping others, especially after retiring from education, has helped lead us to many of the opportunities we enjoy today and showed us that our greatest moments may lie before us. Retirement is just the beginning. Today, whether you are pursuing a favorite passion, considering a new career, continuing to give to your community through volunteering, or just enjoying some newfound time with loved ones, it's time to explore your what's next. And whatever shape the next step in your journey takes, NRTA is here to help.
Isn't that a wonderful video? All right, I'm hopeful that you can see that we have had a seamless shift from the video to seeing pictures of both Noelle and I. NRTA is really excited about the film that you just saw, and this film is available to you. You can show it anywhere. It's available on ARP's site, and I'm happy to follow up with Linda with the link for it. But you can feel free to show this within your local units and at any events. It's just such an inspiring story. I think the thing that I find the most inspiring about Dr. Andrus's story is to think that a lot of people struggle with this idea of retirement, and yet she had this amazing, well-respected, highly accomplished career, yet she went to really change the world of aging in the United States in her retirement. It's just such a hopeful story for everybody who's retiring and, looking at the rest of their life. It really casts some, shine on all of us to see what we do could be really the greatest accomplishment might just be before us. So thank you so much for joining us. I'm just going to go through a couple of norms with you. So the first request is that you please keep yourself muted unless you are speaking. The second request is that you please use the reactions and also make use of the chat. The reactions are at the bottom. Both of those are at the bottom of your screen. Noelle Carter is co-facilitating with me, and she is helping keep an eye on the reactions in chat. So if I miss it, then she will try to acknowledge your reaction, and we will try to, as time allows, to take questions and comments as we go. And anyone who raises their hand, and we love all of those things that you can experience virtually. The third thing is we are asking you to be flexible. This is a virtual experience that we're all having. So be flexible with us and flexible with each other. And most importantly, be flexible and take care of yourself. If you need to step away for a minute, please do so. Keep yourself as comfortable as you want. If you need another glass of water, another cup of coffee, go help yourself. And then the last request that I have is to please have a paper and pen handy. There is a handout that goes with this class. If you do not have the handout with you, that is totally fine. You will be perfectly okay with a paper and pen. Those are all the norms that I have for you. So let's get started. The first concept that I want to introduce you to is the idea that we are all connected. Information is bombarding us from many, many different channels and connections all around us every day. So what I'd like for you to do is to start thinking about that idea. Think about how are connections made? How are you connected to information? All around us, there are these communication channels that are constantly working, constantly trying to keep us updated about pieces of information. You might consider the human beings in your life, as an example, as a communication channel. So you might have gone to the grocery store and someone might have mentioned this meeting and encouraged you to join. You might have seen on email, you might have seen email sharing the information about this session, making you aware. You might have gotten a couple of those emails. So email would be the communication, and then let's say you got 3 emails. Those would be 3 email touches, 3 communication touches. Your spouse might tell you something in the morning. Your neighbor might text you in the afternoon. You also might see an advertisement. You might head out in a few weeks, or you might have just gone out within the last week to celebrate teacher appreciation and taken a box of donuts or a bowl of candy to the school that you taught in to show your appreciation to teachers who are still teaching and share a little bit about the North Carolina Retired School Personnel Association. All of these are communication touches. Additionally, when you listen to your radio, if you're in your car, you hear NPR, a little advertisement, that's another touch. You might listen to Pandora or a streaming service. That would be another touch. So all of these are ways that you are contacted and receiving information. And just want to make you aware of those. So I see that there's 2 people who have added chats. Okay, thank you to Julia Thorne. The handout is posted on NCRSP calendar today. And thank you to Julia Thorne for, it looks like she has shared something as well. So, all right, so moving ahead, I want us to take a quiet moment this morning. And I want you to think about your last week. Think about let your mind scan the last 7 days. For those of you who celebrated Mother's Day, I hope you had a good Mother's Day. Some of you might have received a touch of a floral bouquet being delivered to you in the mail. So let's take a moment though and let ourselves to think back over the last 7 days, all of the touches that you've experienced. What were the touches? All those communication channels. Let your mind, you can start with Sunday and go back. And on that piece of paper in front of you, I'm going to ask you to just jot those down. So I'm going to give you a couple minutes to think about those. Again, you're thinking about over the last 7 days, all the pieces of information that you have bombarded with, how you were bombarded with them, what was the channel, and what were the touches about. So I'm going to give you a couple minutes to do that, just quietly to yourself. You might want to also think about television if you watched a program. Did you see some advertisements?
Mary Beth, we have a hand raised.
You have a question, Mary Beth.
Oh, okay. What's the question, Sheila?
No, I have my list ready.
Oh, perfect. Thank you. I was about to call time, so that's perfect. All right. So the next thing that we're going to do is we are going to break out into groups. And you're going to go into your group. And the first thing that I want you to do in your group is a round of introductions. So I want you to briefly introduce yourself, share what your role is, share the name of your local unit. So again, that's your name, your role, and your local unit. And you'll just do a quick round of introductions. And then the next thing that you're going to do is to designate a reporter. So one person in the group who can report back. And then the next thing after that I want you to do is to make one list of all of the communication channels that you all have experienced over the last week. So I'll repeat that again. We are about to go into breakout rooms, and I'm going to ask you to, when you go into the breakout room, do a round of introductions, briefly state your name, your role, and your local unit. And then after that, designate a reporter. That reporter will be taking notes and compiling one list of all of the communication touches that the group has shared. I will also ask that reporter just to make note of your room, because when we come back, we're going to do a debrief and we'll ask for room 1 to report out, room 2 to report out, and so on. So I'm going to stop here and just see, are there any questions? All right, bear with us with your patience, and we will go ahead and get you into those breakout rooms. It'll take just a moment. When you're in those breakout rooms, you'll have the chance to see when you're going to be brought back, so we can message you and we'll also share the question back with you. So Noelle Carter is helping with that, so just bear with us while we handle that. Right.
Hey, good morning, Linda. Hey, you're muted. Hey, can you unmute? I can't hear you.
I said, I'm sorry I'm a little late. I thought
Oh, okay,
I would,
that's okay.
okay. All right. Thank you.
Everybody is in breakout rooms, brainstorming on some ideas. They'll be back in just a couple minutes.
Okay. Thank you. I was in here. I've been doing physical therapy. I was trying to do the exercises and then I just forgot about everything
Okay,
this morning. Okay. Thank you. I'll be in on the last section part
yeah,
of this.
just hold on. Okay.
Okay. All right. Thank you. Thank you.
People are coming back. Welcome back to all of you who are coming back.
Pat, can you see yourself on there?
Yes, I can. Thank you.
Okay, great.
So I'm just going to ask Noelle to let us know when everybody is back in.
Mary Beth, you're good to proceed. Everyone's back in from the breakout rooms. They're coming back in slowly, but everyone's coming back in.
Okay, great. Do we have anyone that's still out there?
No, everyone's back in.
Okay,
Everyone's
perfect.
back in.
Okay.
The presenter. I have a question to the
welcome back.
presenter.
Mary
Yeah.
Beth has a question.
Everyone can hear you, yep.
This is to the presenter. I am going to leave. I have class at 11:30. Thank
That's
you so
okay.
much.
You take care of you, and thank you so much for joining us.
All right, thank you.
Thank
I'm sure
you.
you have. I'm sure you have class all the time.
All right.
Thank you
so
for
we're
your
gonna,
input, Lena.
You all are
Bye, Lena.
You all are into the fun part now of sharing out, so and talking. So I'm going to take care of that good energy you got and ask for the first group, for the reporter to share with us the first 5 communication channels on your list. So the reporter from group 1, again, you're going to share the first 5 on your list. And for the rest of us in our other groups, what I'm asking you to do is, as we go through and make this master list, because I'm making it right here on your screen, as we make this master list, please cross off of your list anything that somebody else says. I am recording all of them, and I will share this document back with you, but we're making a bank of all the ways that you have been communicated with. So I hope that that makes sense. Does anyone have any questions about this? All right, let's start with group 1. Could the reporter share from group 1 the first 5 things on your list?
Digital and social media, and the digital communications include email, Facebook, texting, and creating graphics as messages and cards. And the second thing is hard copy correspondence that includes letter writing, postcards.
Okay, that's 5.
Cards.
Thank you, Julia. All right, Julia was very concise with her wording, but I managed to pull out several pearls of wisdom. She shared digital email, she shared Facebook, she shared texting, she shared graphics, and she shared letter writing. So group 2, tell me your next 5 that are not already listed on here. So group 2's reporter, if you could start by sharing with me the next 5 things on your list.
Are we group 2?
It was
Shoot, I thought we were group 1.
Pat Reagan and Pat Randall, I think y'all were group 1. Go ahead.
So where's Sheila? Anyway, magazines, newspapers, face-to-face, TV, Pandora, radio.
Pandora always gets me. Thank you. Thank you for group 2. Group 3, the reporter for group 3.
Yes. So we had voicemail and I guess / telephone, Instagram, and our local and region NCRSP meetings.
Okie doke. Group 4's reporter.
I think the only thing I have differently, which would still be phone calls, but calling post. Okay, and I think somebody already said face-to-face and personal contact would be the same. Newspaper.
Okie doke. Anything else?
It's in 7.
Okay, thank you. Got an eagle eye on there. All right, group 5.
Yes, we have only 3 additions that have not been mentioned so far. They are bulletin boards in public places like churches or libraries, that kind of thing.
Oh,
and then one that wasn't mentioned specifically was NPR. A lot of people mentioned that they listen to NPR and hear the local outreach that the NPR stations do. And then the third one was billboards and marquees on the road. So when you're out driving, I know I drive a lot across town and a little bit in this area of the state. So I see church marquees and other communications in front of businesses that I'm always reading and criticizing the grammar, etc.
Yeah, and you might have seen some of mine that you can certainly criticize. All right, I think that we only had 5 groups. I think that's what Noelle shared with me. So
no, there's 6.
There were 6. I love 6.
I was going to say.
Thank you. Group 6, what else do you have for us?
All right, let's see. Handouts, alerts. Well, because we got weather alerts the other day that were flying in on us. DVDs and VCRs, and yes, I still look at a VCR. And let's see if there's any books. I still, and most of us still love to hold a book in our hand to read. And I read 2 different ones. I put one down and pick the other one up. Let's see if there's anything else. I think we've got everything else that we said covered.
Okay, great. So we've got this fantastic list. You guys have spent some good time putting this together. I want to see, just to ask really quickly if there's anything else that we don't have on here that should be on here.
Well, Sandra mentioned the emergency broadcast system by way of emergency weather contacts, and then Hamilton mentioned billboards. In our group, I don't remember Pat Randall being in there, but the other Pat Reagan said person-to-person contact, I think, and video chat. And she also mentioned magazines. Let's see, we had magazines, right? And what about face-to-face communication?
Yep, we got that on number 8. So,
all right.
Okay, good.
So that covers everything, I guess.
Yep, that covers everything. So I'm going to ask you to take a couple minutes, well, a minute right now, to write down for yourself on that piece of paper. I want you to think about, how does your local unit currently reach out to younger potential members? So what do you guys do? Maybe you send a letter, maybe you send an email. I'm going to give you just a couple seconds to jot that down. And, maybe you don't know. Maybe there's not like a regular system that's in place for this, and that's okay. And then just like you did before, when somebody's done with that list, if you could raise your hand. Okay, thank you for that. So for the 2 of you that raised your hand, if I could ask you both to share just verbally, if you could take yourself off mute and just tell me the number. how many touches are you already doing?
I have 5.
Okay, thank you. That was Sandra?
3.
And 3. Okay, so 5 and 3. So great. So you guys already have really great plans in place. You already know what the systems are to reach out to local units. And so I want to bring us back to really.
Mary Beth, we still have some hands raised. We still have.
That's fine.
George,
We've got.
Mhm.
I know we had such a great discussion before that I just want to move us ahead. I think the 2 people that we have that shared will already demonstrate the point that I'm going to try to make. So for the rest of you who have your hands raised, if you want to just put into chat what your number was, if you want to put into chat as well as we go, like what and how you reached out to people, that would be great as well. So but I'm just going to move us ahead because I know teachers really care about things starting and stopping on time. And so for the next 18 minutes, I'm going to tell you briefly about some research. Research shows that it actually takes 7 touches for someone to receive some sort of communication about your association before they recognize your association as an option to join. So we heard 2 and we heard 5, and that's typically, around what we hear. 2 to 3 is around what we hear. So you all are doing, well and surpassing many people who have an average approach. So that's great. But what I want to bring you back to is sometimes how we feel. Like sometimes we feel sad and disappointed. We feel when people don't sign up, when we're making all this effort, we put a lot of effort and thought into thinking about how we can do a presentation, how do we can do a presentation and make it fun, and then nobody signs up, and it's easy for our feelings to get hurt. It's important for us to go back and just remind ourselves of what the research says and set our expectations, right? So with information, it's better to have that information. And then the other thing that I'm going to share with you is even when you do all those 7 touches in the best way possible, only 50% of people will join. So that is your success rate, is after those 7 touches is 50% of people joining. So I'm sorry, was there a question? Okay. So what I want you to do for the next couple minutes is we are going to send you back into the room, and with your partners, I want you to come up with a plan of what would it look like to provide 7 touches to reach new potential members. So again, we're going to send you back into the room. I'm going to leave up this nice, beautiful list that you made, and we're going to send you back into the room so that together you can work on a plan of what would it ideally look like to reach 7 people, do 7 touches to reach 1 person. If you were to do it right, if you were to do it, in this idealistic way that we would want to do it, what would be the way that you would want to do it? And I will just mention, you might want to think about the progression and the sequence of things and the timing. You can include that in there as well. So we're going to send you back in, and then we will bring you back to share that in chat with us. So thank you.
Noelle,
Yes.
do you add Linda Strickland to one of the breakouts? She joined later.
Yes, I can.
Welcome back, everyone. All right, could you tell me if you can still see my screen? If someone could just shout out yes or no.
Mary Beth, we can't
Yes.
see your
Yes, we see you.
Oh,
We
you
see you. We don't see your screen.
screen.
Okay. All right. So let's go ahead and start with group 6 and just see if group 6, if the reporter would share back with us what their plan is to go with 7 touches. And for everybody else outside of group 6, if you wouldn't mind putting that into chat. I think we might have time for 2, but I'm going to try group 6 to start.
Okay. Calls, attend meetings, notices on bulletin boards in the schools, newsletters, attend school board meetings and speak up, because that makes them well aware of the retired group. Newspaper articles for when some major event, like we just gave out 4 scholarships, and we're going to put that in the paper with pictures, and sharing treats at the schools with our names on them for special days like Teacher Appreciation Week and Education Week. That's back in November, I think it is. That's mine, or ours.
Thank you so much. Let's use our reactions and give group 6 some applause. Yay. And now I'm going to
Thank you.
ask for group 5 if you could share with us what your touch plan looks like.
I'll be honest, we didn't really come up with a plan. We discussed some of the different methods and talked about how it's good to get the word out as best we can. And I know our strategy here in Watauga is to contact the people we find out from the county office who are retiring and try to get them in the fold. We do newspaper notifications and social media. Other than that, I guess I'm new to being a committee chair, a committee of one, and I'm going to try to recruit other people around me to help. The outgoing membership chairs offered to help, so I guess she's on the committee.
Well, I love your plan is to like that's another workshop in itself, is like bringing in another person to help. So at least I hope that you have a good call to order of starting with a plan, trying to create a plan of 7. We have about another minute. How about we have group 4 report out? Did group 4's reporter share?
Is that
yes. Flyers. Well, someone else can do it if they want to, but anyway, I had flyers and brochures in mailboxes, having a dinner for the retirees, giving away gift cards or other items, thereby being able to get the names and contact information of those retirees because they sign up to receive the gifts. Also receiving lists from the school system itself where you can be able to contact others, and one-to-one invites.
Awesome. I love these plans that you guys came up with, and just on the fly, it's amazing. I want to bring us into if your group didn't have a chance to report again, if you could if the reporter could put into chat the plan that you all came up with, just so that all of us can see and to be able to experience the good wisdom from your group. And I just want to bring us back to, now that you've done this, I want to tell you about a couple of the fast forward, buttons, since somebody mentioned the VCR. There are a couple things that you can do to make your efforts even stronger, right? So when you have these 7 touches down and you're thinking about your plan, and I just want to go through those with you very quickly. The first one is to personalize your message. Personalize your message as much as you can. If that is on an email, use the first name of the individual. When you meet them in person and face-to-face, we heard a lot of that. people actually really love to hear their name spoken. So be sure to use their name and, use it generously. When you call somebody on the phone, the same thing. So as much as you can personalize that to the individual, another way to personalize things is in the materials that you send. You can personalize it to your community. You can include a picture of what you've done with back to school stuff, just so people can see that and they recognize that you are active in their community that they call home. You can, put some things up that everyone associates with teaching, a chalkboard, an apple. So you want to personalize it for your audience. The second thing that I want to talk about is your channels. So we touched on this just very briefly, making your channels work together. Some of you were talking about that. I heard that in my group. The idea of how can my channels work together in my group. They talked about holding a retirement event and then following it up with a letter to people. And then after that, reaching out and inviting someone to a meeting. So thinking about how those channels can work together and what that experience is for the potential new member. And then the first one on here is meet them in the channels that they use. They are using the same channels that you are using in this really great bank of examples that you gave. So I'm going to share that back with Linda so that can be shared with all of you. So you've got that. But it is important to meet them in the channels where they're at. And then the last one is the what. What is the value? So we talk a lot about value proposition. I'm sure you've heard this phrase before, but what is it personally in it for them? Why should they join? And how have you delivered on what you promised? So when we talk about delivering on what we promised, that's kind of an interesting one when we are thinking about somebody who isn't even a member of the association. So we have to provide a little context to that. I want to mention that, and the way that we do that is through sharing back pictures from what we did last year. Maybe one of the things that we do is we collect the most backpacks and fill the most backpacks for back to school. So we want to share what we have already delivered on and what we've already on our promises before. And when we have them in that first year, we want to show that we are delivering on what they have been promised at the very beginning. The value proposition, some of you have talked, I heard you talking about lunches, a pre-retirement event. Some of you probably do social activities. Younger members will join an association just simply for a service day. So the fact that your association is organizing this service day every day, the same day of the year, and they can participate in it once a year is part of your value proposition. So in closing, and if you have any questions and you want to post them in chat, I can stay on and answer those questions. But I know teachers like things to end on time. But the closing thing that I have for you, if you only take one thing with you, it is to encourage you to create a plan to provide 7 touches and get all of your association on board with it, to conduct 7 touches to try to make a new potential member aware of your association. So thank you. And I will, with just a couple seconds left, turn things over to Linda. If there's any last comments or closing remarks. All right, and hearing none, I just want to thank you all for joining and your participation today. I am going to stay on for questions, but if people have to dash out at 12, that is totally fine. Feel free to go. All right, so thank you so much. And Pat, I see that you have your hand up.
Mary Beth, in Chatham County for the last 2 years, what we have done is we take on the new BT1s per year, and our retired teachers, we sign up to be their mentors. So then we're in the schools weekly working with them, which also gives us the opportunity to reach out to some of the upcoming retiring teachers. This year, on May 6th, and President Leonard Gunter and Colleen Lanier came. We had our end of year celebration, whereas we opened it up a little bit wider this year, and we invited our dignitaries in. Mo Green was there, and he spoke. The sheriff department. We also invited our principals to bring their retiring teachers. So we're trying to, and we set up a station for a membership. And we also displayed our brag board that we had at the convention and the certificates and the awards we got. And thanks to Colleen Lanier, she helped us out some with recruitment. But this is something new we tried, and we did this year with our end of year celebration, which we found that a lot of the dignitaries had no idea who we were.
Mm.
And our next step now is to kind of use next year to bring in maybe some money and some funds. So that's step 2. Thank you all.
Thank you. So you're making a plan to talk to those dignitaries 7 times, to touch them 7 times.
Well, the thing about our dignitaries is I work with them closely. I know all of them. I know where the money is in Chatham County. So usually I can just make a phone call and leave a message, and they will show up.
Yeah, thank you for that.
Mary Beth?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, Linda wanted to say something.
Sure.
Yeah.
I was just going to add, Colleen, how many members did you get? About 5 last Friday in Chatham County?
Colleen, Colleen was working on that with me. And she took those applications back to the Raleigh office. Colleen, are you there?
I think maybe she dropped off.
If I'm not mistaken, we picked up about 6, and these were retirees probably 20, 30, 40 years ago.
Yeah.
These were not new members. They were old that used to teach me when I was in school, probably, or worked along with me as I worked in the school system.
So that's a good idea. So I really appreciate all. I think the thing is, I think sometimes we do these things, but maybe we're not thinking about it. Maybe we don't make the 7 touches, or maybe we need to think about making them in the right order so it will really have an impact. And access to these lists is really important, and access to who's retiring in the school. So I think that you've got us all talking. Is there anybody thinking about all this, and we can go back to our locals and discuss how we can do it best in our particular situation?
Yeah, so being membership chair, we're going to have our last meeting next month. So I'm going to make sure I have the new 24, am I right? 24, 25 applications. And each member is going to have to take at least 2 applications with them. And they're going to have to bring me at least 2 per member.
Yeah, I think we have put together that new membership application, Carol. Is that correct?
It's not online, because I looked this morning. The 24, 25 is not online yet.
Okay.
If it is, I didn't see it.
Okay, well, we'll talk to Carol after this meeting, and if it's there, Julia's gonna snag it.
It's there.
It's there?
It's there. Yes.
Oh,
I just emailed you back, Pat, about that, and I emailed the 2 other people who you contacted. It's there under how to join. That's the latest application.
Oh, it's under how to join. I was looking on the form.
It's also a membership too.
Okay, membership. I was looking on the forms.
Okay, that's a good idea. I'll put it under form. All right.
Okay, thank you so much.
If you put it in the search window and enter the term membership form, it'll explode and you'll
Just hit me in the face. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
Well, thank you so much. And like, if anybody wants to stay on just to ask a few more questions, feel free to. I think we probably gotta stop the recording. Have you stopped the recording? We should have stopped it.